Cumpy, the Boy Who Became a Civil War General, by Luke Bradley, Nick Cannizzaro, and Michael Iafonti.
Looking back, my childhood turned out to be pretty sweet. In fact, I never knew that my younger years would be the best time of my life.
I was born February 8th, 1820, in Lancaster, Ohio. My mom was always telling me what to do, but those were happy days. Simple, but happy.
Tecumseh, get back up here and make your bed, my mama hollered. Why did I have to be the one to make the bed? With 10 other kids in the house, couldn't somebody else, like one of my sisters, do the woman's work? It made me grumpy, but I did as my ma asked.
And before you go off making fun of my name, I'm here to tell you that I was named for a famous Injun, Chief Tecumseh. So there!
On a good day, I would go outside and shoot marbles in the dirt with our neighbors, the Ewings. Ellen would always tell me, nice shot or swell game.
That's Ellen Ewing I'm talking about. She lived next door and was just a couple years younger than me. Some people might have said that she was purty, but being a boy, I didn't notice such things.
Hey, Tecumseh, now that the game's over, you want to walk down to the lake and skip some rocks? I can bring us some cold ham sandwiches and a thermos of tea, Ellen asked.
That sounds like a fine idea, I replied. But not for too long. Mama will want me to chop wood before it gets too dark.
We kids didn't complain too much about doing extra work. Most of it was because hard work was good for us kids, but I think it was because Pa was feeling poorly. He sure was spending more and more time in bed.
But that afternoon, at least I didn't think about Pa being sick. Ellen and I sat by the lake, eating our lunch, skipping rocks, and talking about a whole lot of nothing.
I came home that evening, and Ma didn't seem like herself, so I did my chores, made my own supper, and tried to stay out of her way.
I woke up the next morning to the sound of my sisters crying. My ma was crying too, so I knew something was wrong.
I finally mustered up the courage to ask what had happened. My ma said with a trembling lip that Pa had died.
A few days later, we buried Pa, and things were never the same. My ma couldn't handle 11 kids on her own, and before I knew it, I was at the Ewings being raised as one of theirs. The Ewings were well off. Did I mention that they went ahead and adopted me? Anyway, they had everything. A big house and important connections.
Mrs. Ewing didn't like calling me Tecumseh, so she gave me a proper Catholic name. From then on, my first name became William.
I was growing older, and I noticed that things about me were changing.
Like my eyesight, for example. Ellen was pretty. We ended up getting hitched, but I'm getting ahead of myself.
Mr. Ewing came home real excited one night in the winter of 1836. By then, he was Senator Ewing. He walked over to me and said, "I'm sorry, but we're sending you away."
I took a deep breath. Sending me away? Where? I asked. To West Point Naval Academy, my father replied. You were accepted! I could hardly believe it. West Point? And I was only 16.
William, once again, I can trust that if one student will be late coming to class, it will be you. Fortunately, you usually make it up with an A on your test. Just please try not to be tardy tomorrow.
The instructors at West Point found William to be a smart young man, if not a punctual one. Unfortunately, it wasn't just class that William was late for.
Oh no, not again! Sarge is going to skin me alive! I cried, jumping out of bed. I dashed across campus, struggling to tie my bootlaces fast on my belt and tuck in my shirt tail all at the same time. But I was too late. I could see my fellow cadets had already fallen in line for inspection.
Glad you could join us, Cadet Sherman, my drill sergeant bellowed. A week of latrine duty for you. After you give me 50 push-ups, that is.
Later in the latrine, as I was scrubbing toilets, some of the fellows joined me.
Cumpy, they'd nicknamed me Cumpy by then. Cumpy, you really gotta try harder to be on time and to have your shoes shined for inspection.
And to tuck in your shirt tail and lace up your boots proper like. Your dad would have a fit if you were kicked out of West Point.
I knew they were right. Why did book learning come easy for me but not being on time for inspection? I had a list of merits a mile long, and I hate to say, I had gotten to be on first-name basis with every toilet in my barrack. Drat that latrine duty.
Despite my shortcomings, I managed to graduate 4th in my class. Good thing for all those A's.
You're probably wondering what I did once I graduated. Because of those darn demerits, I was never what was considered a good soldier. So upon graduation, I got to fight for a short while in the Seminole War. But then I was sent to work a desk in California, while all my buddies went to the Mexican-American War.
It was the important war, so I was sorry I didn't get to fight in it. I was one of the only high-ranking officials of the Civil War to have never fought in the Mexican-American War.
But while the other fellows were seeing action in that Mexican-American War, at least I got to go around Cape Horn aboard the USS Lexington. It took 198 days and earned me the ranking of a captain.
I finally got to marry Ellen in 1850. We had 8 children, and I held a lot of different jobs before the Civil War.
I keep bringing up the Civil War, don't I? I guess that's what most people know me best for, being a Union Brigadier General in the Civil War.
I never really disagreed with slavery. I was sympathetic to the South's defense of it, but I was dead set against them thinking they could secede from the Union. As it turned out, our difference in views pretty much became the reason behind the Civil War.
I was quoted as saying, "You people of the South don't know what you are doing. This country will be drenched in blood, and God only knows how it will end."
But we do know how it ended. 700,000 died in the war, including my beloved son, Willie. No, he didn't die fighting, but he caught yellow fever after visiting my camp.
It was one of the greatest tragedies in American history. The Civil War was.
Well, that wraps it up. That's my life story. May God be with you.
This project took most of 4th grade to complete. The boys chose to study Tecumseh Sherman because Nick is related to him. In the fall, they researched his life. In the winter, they wrote a historical fiction story based on his life. And in the spring, they turned the story into a stop-action movie using Frames software. We all learned so much, not only about Cumpy, but about what it was like to live in that era, about West Point, the Civil War, yellow fever, and more. Thank you to Miss Jones and Miss Trapp for supporting us in this project. We never knew learning could be so much fun.
Sail away, ladies, sail away. All the angels by and by. Sail away, ladies, sail away. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o, don't you rock 'em, daddy-o, don't you rock 'em, daddy-o, don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. If ever I get my new house done, sail away, ladies, sail away. I give my old one to my son. Sail away, ladies, sail away. Don't you rock 'em, daddy-o, don't you rock 'em, daddy-o, don't you rock 'em, daddy-o, don't you rock 'em, daddy-o. Come along, girls, and go